the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Less Levine on a Monday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again. No, it's not a Monday night. It's a Thursday night. Welcome once again to More Sports and Less Levine, powered by cleveland.com. A friendly face, a familiar face back. Has been at least 6 months. Hoynes, wake up. Hoynes, wake up.
How you doing, Les?
I think it's been about 6, 8 months since I saw you. I didn't see you at all during the truncated baseball season.
Yeah, the access to the press box was limited, and been in the bunker ever since, man.
Did you ever get used to watching a game without any fans, or a game without any noise, or a game that, you weren't chugging beers and all that stuff? Did you ever get used to it and watching the game as just a game?
No, the strangest thing to me was watching games and looking out at those big ballparks wherever the Indians were playing, and they were empty except for some cardboard cutouts. That was the strangest thing to me. It just looked like, to me, the games didn't look real. They looked like a spring training game in Goodyear, Arizona, or something. It just the noise was piped in. I never got it just didn't look real to me.
Yeah. Was there any other choice to do it any other way, or did they do it the only way possible?
I think they did it the only way possible. The players, they had a couple options, several options, but I don't think the players wanted to do the bubble, for the entire 60-game season, and that pretty much took that out of that took the bubble out of the the picture, and so they just cut it down to play in your division, or your opposite division in the National League, which in the Indians' case was the NL Central, and cut it down to 60 games and go from there. And except for the Marlins and the Cardinals, it worked pretty well, worked fairly well. As good as could be expected. But the Marlins and Cardinals, almost ended the season.
Yeah. I'm surprised, though, that when you look back at it, that not more guys were. I thought there'd be more serious injuries, whether it's arm injuries for the pitchers, or just guys not totally in playing condition and trying to play a 162 schedule in 60 games.
Yeah, I think that was a big concern. I think that's why you saw a lot of people, a lot of teams handling their pitching staffs like Tampa Bay did. You pitch 2 or 3 innings and you get them out of there, or you going with the starter or the opener, and then have and use 7 bullpen guys. And but the Indians were the exception. Their starters were going 4, 5, 6 innings right out of the gate.
We've got Paul Hoynes with us, covering the Indians since 1982, maybe? Is that about right?
83.
Yeah. Oh, they gave you a chance in 82. You said, no, thanks. I'll wait till they're good next year.
Yeah, that's right.
And Hoynes tells me he's developed a new thing called a rant that he's going to do a little bit later. Looking forward to that. All right, so you had a meeting today with Chris Antonetti and talked a little bit. They made some roster moves, nothing that will affect the team here. But what did they do? They gave up on some people that they were giving an extra chance. Delino DeShields is gone, right?
Yeah, they non-tendered 2 outfielders, Delino DeShields and Tyler Naquin, and right-hander Jeffrey Rodriguez. And Rodriguez was like the guy standing on the corner and that gets run over by the runaway beer truck. He was an innocent bystander, basically. He wasn't even eligible for arbitration, and and they still non-tendered him and took him off the 40-man. And I think they did that so I guess they could sign him at a lesser deal, a cheaper deal. And they still, I think, he missed the whole season. He didn't pitch at all, so he was just, I'm still not quite sure why they did that, but they can bring him. I think they'll bring him back.
Nathan's an interesting guy because he provided some great moments. I think one of the great moments of the last 5-6 years at Progressive Field was the inside the park home run. and yet on an everyday basis he didn't quite do it.
Yeah, he had trouble staying healthy. I thought, he was finally Tyler was finally putting it together in 2019. He was having a solid season. He was playing almost every day. Then, at the end of August, he hits the wall in Tampa Bay, making that great catch, tears the ACL in his right knee, and, really, had to work all winter to get back. He looked good in, spring training 1 and spring training 2. And then, just at the end of, just before the season starts, he fouls the ball off his foot, breaks his big toe, and, that kind of put him behind the 8 ball for the 60-game sprint.
Let's take a look at what the Indians have left in the outfield, if anything. Let's put it up there and take a look. And Hoynes, you can make up some names here if you want that have a better chance of making the team than these guys do, or let us know how you feel. Jordan Luplow, Josh Naylor came in that trade with San Diego. Brad Zimmer, another disappointment. Daniel Johnson, Oscar Mercado, Franmil Reyes, and Jake Bowers. That doesn't look too imposing, does it?
No, I mean, we still don't know if Luplow can play every day. He was going to get a chance this past season. The shortened season. Then he opened the year with a bad back. And Naylor, as you said, came over in the Mike Clevenger deal. Mercado just disappeared. I mean, I've never seen a guy go from potential rookie of the year to, not even, he doesn't even register a blip on the offensive radar. I mean, he can still catch a ball in center field, but he didn't do anything offensively. Jake Bowers didn't even get an at bat in the big leagues. He was in the alternate camp the whole year. Daniel Johnson, we still, I don't know. He had his moments in, the 2 spring trainings, but we didn't see him much in the regular season. Plus, Jimmy Ingram had a great stat for the Indians outfield. They had 9 different outfielders. They totaled 11 home runs for the total season for the 60-game season.
The whole year.
Ingram said 41 different players hit more than 11 home runs all by themselves. And, they basically, that whole outfield was, I think they hit 169 to get, their total batting, their, combined batting average was 169. It was just a complete no-show by the whole outfield.
But
and the 2 guys that drove in the most runs were Naquin and DeShields.
Yeah, and you got Franmil Reyes, rather. He looked the year before like he could do something, and then all of a sudden, just like everybody else on that team last year, couldn't provide anything.
Yeah, I mean, he was very, very good at the beginning for the first month, and then he disappeared for the second month. It was, he's got the all or nothing swing, and that's what we saw. For the Indians to go 35-25, that was an accomplishment because, after you got past those 4 hitters in the lineup, there was nothing there. Those last 5 hitters, that was like a desert.
All right, Paul Hoynes is with us, covered the Indians since 1983. We've updated that now on the resume in case you're looking for a new gig somewhere. And if you want to talk, I think the next thing coming up on the show, I looked at the schedule. It's Francisco Lindor's name popped up. We may talk about him when we get back. Paul Hoynes is with us. More sports and less. Levine continues, powered by cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
First and foremost, I would want to express profound appreciation for the contributions both guys made to the organization, both on and off the field. In Tyler's case, we've had the chance to be around him for a really long time, and he's not only made meaningful and memorable contributions on the field, but as part of the fabric of our clubhouse. And Delino, hard to script a more difficult transition to an organization than the one he had to make last year. And he really did so seamlessly, despite some really trying circumstances. And again, just grateful for the contributions both guys have made, and we'll remain interested in staying in touch with them as we go throughout the winter, and keep the possibility of them rejoining the team open. All this means is just we were not in a position at this point to commit to going through the arbitration process.
So there you have it. Hoynes, did you take part in that Zoom meeting today?
Yeah, definitely. I was zoomed in. I still have trouble muting myself or unmuting myself. It's just, but I should know it by now. But yeah, and I thought, I was surprised they non-tendered Naquin. I really was. I thought, former number one pick. I mean, he's really good guy, and I thought if he ever could stay healthy, he would be a productive player. And just really a good guy in the clubhouse. And DeShields, was kind of, I know what Antonetti was talking about there. He had coronavirus before he reported to camp, that put him behind the 8 ball. He really never got his legs under him, to me. And Les, he to me, I thought he was a better center fielder than he appeared. Yeah, and he didn't play that way.
I want to talk about obviously Francisco Lindor, but before we do that, a question. You and I were talking before the show about Mike Chernoff and what the situation is with him. I thought it was a no-brainer that he was going to New York, where Mr. Cohn is the richest owner in baseball and is a baseball fan and a local guy, and Mike is a local guy too to the New York area, and I'm surprised it seemed to all fit, but he's back here as the assistant to Chris.
Yeah, this isn't the first time Mike Chernoff has had a chance to leave, and the same can be said for Antonetti as well. Chris Antonetti, they both had other opportunities. They chose to stay in Cleveland. I think I don't think Mike Chernoff really sought this job. I think he feels like, he's the general manager. Antonetti obviously is the director of baseball operations. So he's, like the the number 2 guy in Cleveland, but I don't think he's treated as a number 2 guy. You know, he's got a table at every meeting. I mean, he's got a chair at the table for every, you know, high level discussion, every player acquisition, you know, that goes on, every trade that goes on.
You don't think it would be that way somewhere else then?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You don't think it would be the same for him somewhere else?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you left and was the number 1 guy, yeah, he would be making the decisions. Yeah, he would. The buck would stop with him, and then, you know, obviously ownership would have to sign off on it. But I think I think he feels like satisfied here. I mean, and he doesn't feel like, or at least he's not ready to take that next big step.
Yeah, I know he's a big family guy, and I know that he probably didn't want to break that up at this point anyway. The kids are young. Everybody wants to talk about Francisco Lindor, and they want to say, how could Cincinnati, which hasn't made a deal yet, but they've been in the works, how could Cincinnati afford the guy and Cleveland can't? So I'll ask you, how can Cincinnati afford him and Cleveland can't?
Well, you know, that's a great question. I mean, you know, they obviously, you know, the Indians and the Reds have a trade history. They've taken the Indians players before. You know, Shin-Soo Choo for a 1-year deal, which would be, you know, what Lindor would be looking at right now. You have him for control for 1 year. They took Trevor Bauer, for a year and a half. Now Bauer is a free agent. So, you know, they've had those. You would take that money. You know, you would assume, you know, Lindor's contract is arbitration fueled contract, which is probably about 20 million, between 19 and 20 million, and you'd have it for 1 year. I don't think Cincinnati's in a position to make a multi-year offer for those guys, for a guy like Lindor. But you know, they certainly have a trade history with the Indians. Does that mean, you know, Lindor's going to the Reds? I don't know. I would tend to not think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't see that happening.
I would think if you're a team that covets Lindor, that you'd want him. You don't want him for a year. You want him somehow make a deal that'll get him for the distance. And I don't think, based on the way baseball is today, I'm not even the very rich clubs might not want to be doing that.
Yeah, I think if you're going to trade for a player like Lindor, you would think, first of all, like you said, you've got to be in position to offer him a multi-year deal, like the Dodgers did with Mookie Betts. You know, the same kind of scenario. They acquire Betts with 1 year left, then all of a sudden they turn around and make him a 12-year. They agree on a 12-year deal. You know, I would think that's the kind of club that would have to make a deal for Lindor and have the thought in the back of their mind that it's just not a 1 year deal. So, you know, I guess Toronto is has some money to spend. That would be a team that would be interesting if, you know, with in the Lindor picture. You know, they obviously Shapiro and Ross Atkins know Lindor, and he would fit good on that club. I think he's only 27. That's a young and upcoming club. I think that's a good fit there. But Boston is, they have a shortstop in Bogarts, so they're not going to do it. The Yankees is a really interesting team that could afford to take Lindor, and I think he'd fit well in New York.
Do you think the Indians know what they want for Lindor, or do you think they're going to sit back and maybe somebody's going to blow their doors off with some kind of an offer that they're not expecting? Or do they have an idea? If the idea that they have in mind comes through today, the deal's done today.
Yeah, I think they've got to know, Les. They've been talking about trading this guy for 2 years. If they don't know what they want for him, that's on them. So I think they've got a pretty good idea what they're going to get and who the top contenders are. Obviously, I think you could wait and you could get blown away, but I think you also have to adjust here and kind of put things in perspective. You're trading this guy for a year, so you're not going to get what you would have got if you traded him last year, last offseason when he had 2 years left. So, I don't know if the return is going to be as great as people think it is. I think it's going to be more of a return like, I'm not saying they're going to get a 6 for a 3 deal like they did for Clevenger, but I think it's, I think it's going to be a younger type of return for the Indians.
And they're going to still have to pay $20 million or so just for that 1 year. At least.
Well, whoever gets him, yeah, but the Indians aren't paying him.
No. I'm not going to put the other team. All right, let's take a break. Paul Hoynes is with us. We're about 20 minutes away from a Paul Hoynes rant. Well worth waiting 6 months for. I don't know about that. Well, he make up. You weren't on airplanes writing these commentaries. You were digging and hustling after every moment that you could get. An interesting year for guys who covered baseball. There's a book in that somewhere. You got a book ready?
No.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
want.
that's the
I do not want
year
a book.
book, and apparently you're not going to do it. We're going to take a break. We'll come on back. Paul Hoynes is with us. You want to talk to him, you can do that. 216-575-0403. More Sports and Less Levine is brought to you by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone!
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Paul Hoynes is with us. Tommy Fears, a player for the Los Angeles Rams. Fred Taylor, the former coach at Ohio State, the winner of the only Ohio State national championship. In fact, when they show a wider shot, I'll show you the ball from that autographed by the members of that team. Willie Make It, 1947. Paul Byrd pitched for the Indians. James Laurinaitis, the football player. And Brian Robisky, also the football player. A couple of Buckeyes there at the end. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Just, it's over my head. I don't think you can see it right now, but the Fred Taylor ball with the autographs of the starting five. Bob Knight didn't want to be part of it. Apparently there wasn't enough money in it, but that was his decision to do. He was the sixth man on that team. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. I thought, Hoynesy, that maybe Chernoff was going to be gone, and for sure I didn't think that Terry Francona was going to be back under these circumstances. Why is he back, and is it a good move for him and the Indians?
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, well, I think it's definitely a good move for the Indians. As long as Terry Francona is healthy. I think he really missed it last year, but I think he was in some. He had some serious health problems. He definitely needed the time off, and but he, we've talked to him a couple times since the end of last season. He says he's feeling good. He's getting stronger. He's been, been able to exercise and lose some weight. He thinks he's going to be ready to manage, for however long the season is next year. We don't even really know if it's going to be a traditional 162 game season or, a shorter season because of the virus. So, we've got to, still take that into consideration. But yeah, I think it's, you could tell he missed it. And I think he wants to go. He wants to get back.
Sandy Alomar was the bench coach and the interim manager. Do you think that while that was happening, Sandy was making all the calls, or do you think Terry was during games or before games?
I think I think Sandy and Sandy and Mike Sarbaugh and Carl Willis were making the calls. I mean, Francona told them basically, call your own game, and a lot of times he was in the hospital under, I think he was, I think he may have been suggesting things or, talking to Antonetti, and it came down through the grapevine. But, I think, Sandy was open to all suggestions. But the impression I got is that, the guys in the dugout were calling the shots.
Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Mr. Gullible. How are you, Gully? Are you there? Mr. Gullible. They lied. They said line 3, Mr. Gullible. No? No, Mr. Gullible. Maybe you've got it. We're going to wait for Mr. Gullible? That's it? All right, let's try it again. Let's go to Mr. Gullible. Hello, Gully.
Hey, now I hear you. Hey, great show, Les.
Today?
Anytime we get to talk baseball and hear a Hoynes rant, it's a great show.
Okay.
Hey, couple of things on my alleged mind tonight. The non-tendering of Tyler Naquin really shocked me, considering what they have left, which is basically, well, as we discussed earlier, as weak as a bottle of Yoo-Hoo. And, Delino DeShields, he was a butcher out there. But, by the way, I was at the Inside the Park home run game. That was such an exciting moment. But I'm hearing nothing but praise from Naquin's manager, coaches, teammates about what a great guy he is. And Hoynesy, the reporters, not that a great guy makes a great ball player, but I thought, if he could ever stay healthy, I don't know, maybe I'm overstating it, but I thought he had all-star potential if he stayed healthy. Any comments on that, Hoynesy?
Well, I felt the same way. I was surprised they non-tendered him. I thought, if he could, the poor guy, he couldn't catch a break. He was always hurt. He was always coming off surgery. And, the one time we did see him in 2019, at full go, he was great until he, made that great catch and tore up his knee at Tropicana Field at the end of August that year. But he was just a good guy to talk to and a good guy in the clubhouse. He always put the team first. So that was, but, you see he's kind of the last of that group of guys, Brantley and Kipnis and Kluber and, those guys kind of, have that whole, Chisenhall, all those guys are gone now. And he was kind of, on the fringe of that. And, this roster turns over fast.
Didn't you think that Bradley Zimmer might have been a part of the group that would take over that as the next step?
I definitely did, but yeah. I mean, and he to me, he hasn't looked the same since he came back from that shoulder surgery, and we really haven't seen him over a full season, but he doesn't look like the same guy to me. I mean, he had the good spring training too at Progressive Field. He hit, offensively, he swung the bat well and it had a real good camp. He didn't make the team, but that was encouraging. But what we saw defensively, to me, he was an electric, defender. I mean, he could run, he could throw.
Right.
He was fearless in the outfield, and we really haven't seen that kind of play from him. And I think
he reminded me a lot of Grady Sizemore.
Yeah.
He reminded me a lot of Grady Sizemore. My second thought was minor league baseball is in such a state of flux right now with the elimination of the Northwest League and the New York Penn League, and I understand our scrappers are going to be part of this new MLB Draft League. They're not affiliated with the Indians, but they're affiliated with Major League Baseball. So how does that work? They're not really an independent team, like the Avon team. Are they affiliated?
That's a great question, and the Avon team is affiliated with Major League. The Lake Erie Crushers are affiliated with Major League Baseball as well, in the Frontier League. So, now the MLB Draft League is going to be right now it's a 68 game schedule. They are going to have there's 5 teams committed to it right now. They're said they were close to adding a 6th team, and it's going to consist mostly of players in the that are eligible for the draft. It sounds like college players, junior college players. They're going to have their All-Star break will coincide with the big league All-Star break in July, and that's when they moved the draft back then to July instead of June. So they'll hold the draft at the All-Star game, and so I'm still not sure how exactly this will work. Will these players, will they continue to play in this league after they're drafted, or will they join their teams where their teams want them to keep playing, or will they they want to get them into their system and acclimate them to their system? So there's still a lot of questions.
Good to talk to you as always. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Paul Hoynes is with us. Smiley One, I've got them coming to my house next week, I think, for a check over. And they do it 4 times a year. I could totally satisfied with them. You want to do it, the Bryant air conditioning or heaters, check it out. Smiley1.com at 440-449-4328. We'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your 4-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Let's check out this date in sports history. December 3rd, 1950, the Browns defeat the Philadelphia Eagles 13-7 without attempting a single pass. Hoynes, I know you covered the Browns in the 50s or into the 60s. Do you remember anything about this game?
No, I do not remember anything about that.
All right, so Greasy Neal was the coach of Philadelphia, and the Browns were into the NFL for the first year, and he said, "This is just a circus team. All they do is throw the ball around like a circus performer." And Paul Brown says, "Oh yeah, I'll show you." And he went out and didn't throw the ball once, and Otto Graham beat him on the ground. So.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a good story.
Yeah. Hey, you enjoying what the Browns are doing this year?
Oh, I'm loving it. Yeah, they're fun to watch. Yeah, definitely. It's a good. Yeah, it's fun.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Paul Hoynes is with us, covering the Indians since 1982. Let's take a look at what they have left at first base, because Carlos Santana was his option was not picked up. So let's take a look. Not too much left at first base either. Let's take a look. Moment. We'll get it. No. All right. So what do we have at first base here? Can Reyes play it? Who can play it?
No,
Lugo?
Reyes isn't going to play first base. I don't think they want him anywhere near the bag. But you've got Jake Bowers can play there. They've got Bobby Bradley, kind of a power hitting prospect who's never really got a shot of an extended shot. And Jake Bowers and Josh Naylor are probably the three guys that are in line for that. And I still think there is still a chance. This is just me, and I have no way of confirming this, but I still think we might see Carlos Santana back. He loves it in Cleveland. The Indians like him. I think it would have to be obviously, a cheap contract, probably a 1-year deal. But I think there's still a chance we could see him.
Francona loves the guy, right?
Yeah, Francona loves him. The front office likes him. I mean, and he likes it. Carlos was so happy when he came back here 2 years ago, and he had the season of his career. But he looked old last year, and I don't know if that was the 60-game season. He never got started, or it just caught up to him. But he looked like he was fine at first base defensively, but offensively he wasn't the same player.
I'm trying to think of players over the years from the Indians or other teams that the team lets them go, and then they try to pick him up again, and the guy almost never performs at a better rate than he did before. I can't think of too many guys who've done that.
Yeah, and it's once it's usually, especially with the Indians, once you're gone, you're gone. They don't bring too many people back. I mean, They did it with Carlos Baerga, a couple of the older guys, Kenny Lofton, those guys, from the 90s, they brought those guys back.
All right, what about second base? Last year they got a surprise to them in second base in Cesar Hernandez, who had a terrific year. I doubt that he's going to be back this year. So who will be somebody that we can look forward to play second base?
That's the $60 million question, Les. I mean, Yu Chang is a guy that's been up and down the last couple of years. He can play the middle infield. He can play second base. He can play shortstop. You've got Ernie Clement, another prospect that has been to spring training, to big league camp for a couple of years. They've got a couple of guys like a Tyler Freeman, who's one of their better prospects. They could they let Mike Freeman go, and he's a free agent now. Perhaps who was a utility infielder who did a great job for him. I thought maybe they could bring him back, but I don't see them making a big splash as a free agent on the free agent market, unless when they do make the trade for if in a Lindor trade or a trade like that. It depends what they get back. Perhaps they get back a middle infielder who could play second base, but I don't see them bringing back Cesar Hernandez. I just don't see it happening.
Hoynes, I'm listening to these names you're throwing around, and have we now come to the point where you got to pay the piper on deals that you made over the years, and this is what comes generally at the 4-year mark, 5-year mark? Is that what's happening right now?
Yeah, well, I think so, to a certain degree. But they just, it just doesn't seem like, to a certain degree, yes. Yeah, you do. And I think they're in a position where before they can really kind of plug holes, they have to make deals. They've got to trade a Lindor. They've got to trade perhaps a Carlos Carrasco to free up money. When they traded last year, when they traded Corey Kluber and his, $17 million contract to Texas, that allowed them to sign Cesar Hernandez. So they might have to, replicate that strategy.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I know the fans, it's finally hitting the fans at this point, and they want to see something. I'm not sure what, but they need to see something. Paul Hoynes is with us. We're going to take one more segment here. Then you ready for a rant? Not at the next segment, the one after that. Give it a try. It's like spring training.
Give it a try.
All right, Hoynes is going to give it a try. I guarantee it'll be. He's playing games with you. He's got a classic ready to go. Let's take a break. We'll come on back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine continues right here, and it's powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. Add more livable space, inhibit the growth of mold and mildew, and improve air quality for your family. It's the healthier, more beautiful basement floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your basement floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
John Heisman, the legendary college football coach whose name is honored by the trophy that goes to college football's most outstanding player every year, has his roots right here in Northeast Ohio. He was born in Ohio City. Heisman started his coaching career at Oberlin College, then moved to Buchtel College, which later became the University of Akron. On May 11th, 1978, the Cleveland Rotary Club hosted Heisman Day to recognize Heisman's legacy and connection to Cleveland. They erected a historical marker at the house where John Heisman was born in Ohio City, 2825 Bridge Avenue. Several Heisman Trophy winners were on hand for the ceremony. There's only one slight problem. We found out several years later it was the wrong house. No, I'm not kidding. You see, the house numbering system changed in Cleveland in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Extensive research was done, and it was determined in the early 2000s that the correct birth house for John Heisman was, in fact, on Bridge Avenue, but 3 blocks away from that historical marker was set. The correct address was 3928 Bridge Avenue. After 42 years of missing the correct house by just a few blocks, Frank Jackson and the Cleveland City Council moved the historical marker to the correct house yesterday. One other minor detail on that initial historical marker, they have Heisman's birthday as October 3rd, 1869. Upon further review, it was actually October 23rd, 1869. So now we have the right house and the right birthday to honor John Heisman, the man who is credited with creating the snap from center, fighting to make the forward pass legal, and is considered the pioneer of Southern college football. I guess it's better late than never.
Hoynes, let me see if I understand this. Were you listening to that?
Yeah.
A Heisman Trophy, John Heisman, and they honored his house. Wrong house. What? How's that happen?
Hey, addresses, things get lost in the midst of history.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I'm a Heisman voter. Do you think I send it to the usual place, the ballot to the usual place, or do I send it to California?
I don't know, Les. You might. Is this a mail-in ballot, or
Well,
do you have to deliver it? You might have to deliver it,
computers.
hand deliver it.
Yeah, no, they call them computers now. But, it could take a few extra months before they recount everything. We'll see. All right, one more break to go. Then we're going to have a Paul Hoynes rant, first of the year, or last of the year, first of the year. I don't know how we describe it. Great to see him. Haven't seen him since baseball season started, believe it or not. Hoynes, are you looking forward to getting back to spring training? Do you have any idea if there's going to be a real spring training, or what do you know that we don't know?
Yeah, I do not know, Les, and I don't think the Indians really know either. I mean, I guess a lot depends on the vaccine, when the vaccine comes out. I know they're planning on going to camp as usual in February, but I've heard some things that it might be a reduced spring training instead of 6 or 7 weeks. It might be cut down to 4. And they might. I don't know if the media is going to have access to the locker rooms. We weren't able to go into the locker rooms this past season, so I think a lot of it is still up in the air.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. All right, Hoynes, get ready. You got a rant coming up. We'll take a break. We'll come back in a moment. More sports and Les Levine is fueled by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
I think any Paul Hoynes rant is worth the wait, and it's going to be classic no matter what. We have classic studios. We have classic rants by Paul Hoynes. What do you got, Hoynes? What are you thinking?
Les, I'm a little worried here. Les, I'm looking out the window here. I'm looking at, and we've got about 2 feet of snow outside the window. I mean, the trees have fallen down. It's freezing out, and Christmas is almost here. It seems like, it's obviously Christmas time. All we do right at the Hoynes household is watch Hallmark Christmas movies. We've been watching that since the middle of November. So, Christmas is it's like every day at the Hoynes household. And I'm just wondering, in the spirit of that, in the spirit of Christmas, in the spirit of giving, I'm wondering, what can we give? What can we give the Cleveland Indians? What do they really need? And unless, I know, I've covered these guys for a long time. They've had 8 straight winning seasons. They've been to the postseason 4 times in the last 5 years. I continually, every year, it's a running joke. I ask them, is this the year you start to rebuild? Is this the year you kind of start over? And they always say, they kind of laugh about it. They say, no, we're still going to compete. We're still going to try to win. But Les, I'm looking at this roster, and Les, I don't see it. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, you've got Jose Ramirez at third base. Okay, he's an all-star, MVP finalist. Yeah, great. But then you've got Austin Hedges and Roberto Perez at catcher. These guys didn't hit 200 last year. Then then I look to the middle of the infield. They've got a hole in the middle of the infield that you could drive a semi through. Lindor is gone. Cesar Hernandez is gone. So what do you do about that? How do you plug that? You're going to plug that with Yu Chang? Okay, if you say so. And then you look at first base. Carlos Santana's gone. You've got Jake Bowers, who didn't have an at-bat last year. You've got, Josh Naylor, who may be a better left fielder than first baseman. And then you've got Bobby Bradley that you haven't given a chance to. So is he the guy? Is he the guy that's going to deliver you to the promised land? Then you go to the outfield. And there is no there, Les. There is no there. What these guys hit 169 last year, and you just got rid of the two of the guys that drove in the most runs out of that group. So, Les, this is the only saving grace they have, and it is a big saving grace, is their pitching staff. And even that, okay, I give, the rotation is solid. Very, very, they've done a great job developing that rotation. But the bullpen, they had a closer that went 16 for 16 in save chances, led the big leagues in saves. They let him go. You're going to go with 2 young guys at the back end of the bullpen, Karinchak and Emmanuel Clase. Karinchak throws, could throw a ball through the brick wall, but sometimes he doesn't know where the ball is going. Clase missed the whole last season because of a PED positive test. This has got me worried, Les. I don't know. I mean, if you're not going to rebuild this year, if you're not going to call that you're rebuilding this year, when are you going to call it?
It's hard to believe. You look at, you never know what a team looks like when it gets into spring training. And by the way, cutting back half of spring training would be one of the best things they can do. I would think that Major League Baseball would be able to do to cut some expenses and get a better view of who can actually play once the games start. But I look at that roster, Hoynesy, and I hate to say there's no hope, because there's always hope in the game of baseball, but this year it doesn't look like it.
It is it's a tough situation, and what makes it tougher, Les, is that they didn't have a minor league season last year, so the Indians didn't get a chance to really take another good look at Bobby Bradley or a lot of their younger, or Nolan Jones, who is their top prospect, and could event. He's a third baseman, but he's not going to move Ramirez out of third base. But he could go to the outfield. He could play some first base. But they didn't get a chance to see him
Could
you know, play
Ramirez
a
go?
full season
Could
in the
Ramirez go to
minors.
second base? Could Ramirez go to second
No.
base to put Jones at third?
I don't think so. No, they pretty much said that third base belongs to Ramirez. That they're not moving him. They're not moving him again. But you know, I guess they could. You never say never, but I don't see that happening.
All right, Hoynes, great job this year under very tough circumstances. I think there have been so many years that have been strange and different and took professionalism to get through it. And, you know, you had so many examples of bad things that have happened to this franchise. And yet this happened all of baseball, and you carried through, and you gave us moments of hope, and you gave us, you just did more than a professional job. And I just want to commend you as a friend and a colleague and whatever else I am. But you were terrific, and we counted on you, and hopefully it'll be a little easier this year. Yeah,
let's hope things get back to normal, Les, and you know, that's really nice of you to say. That's thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, the great Paul Hoynes covering the Indians since 1983. All right, that'll do it for us. Monday we'll be back, Paul. We'll have Bud Shaw on Monday. Mary Kay Cabot will be here on Tuesday. The D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, on Wednesday. And we'll have more when we'll let you know when we get them. We'll see you on Monday. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.